Greetings from Jerusalem. In this week's Bible passages, we're working through 2 Kings. It's a rich book of history, and I wonder what passage did you choose from 2 Kings to highlight this week's video topic, obedience. I chose chapter 4, verses 1 through 7. We'll get to that passage in a moment. But first, what did obedience mean in biblical times, and what can we learn for today? The most common Hebrew word used in the scripture for obedience is Shema. It means to hear intelligently with the intent to act, not just passively hearing. It's the great confession of the Jewish faith. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. We find it in Deuteronomy 6. It means relate to Him accordingly and obey His instructions. Even in modern Hebrew today, it's typical for a parent, if they tell their child to do something and they don't follow through, they'll often say with more intensity, Shema, as if to say, you heard me, do it. Scripture is very clear in 1 Samuel 15 that to obey is better than sacrifice. There, King Saul was given a clear command from the Lord, and he only followed part of it. He didn't follow through and do it all. He rationalized his reasons. But the prophet Samuel comes to him in verse 22 and he says, has the Lord as much pleasure in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in heeding the word of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice. Well, that brings us back to our story for today in 2 Kings 4, 1 through 7, where a widow in desperate straits approaches the prophet and says, please help me. My sons are about to be sold into slavery because of our family debt. Verse 3 is one of my favorite verses in all of Scripture, because Elisha, knowing what God is going to do for the widow, tells her to go and collect vessels, empty vessels from anyone she can. He knows that the extent to which she answers and fulfills that command is the extent that God's going to help her with what she's needing. And he tells her, do not get a few. I love that. Go get vessels and do not get a few. As they filled them, her and her sons, the oil continued until the last jar was filled. Well, what if she would have collected 10 more jars or even 100 more? I'm convinced that that oil would have continued to flow miraculously until every single jar was filled. Let's learn from the good example of this widow and obey God fully. Only He knows how much blessing may come back to us as a result. But one thing's for sure, we'll bless the Father heart of God as His obedient children. May God strengthen you in every effort you make this week to obey His word and walk in His ways. Shema.